What's going on, guys? Joey here. And before we get into the video, I just wanted to point you guys in the right direction and just kind of do my part in terms of getting people to sort of support the movement towards equality. If you check the links down below, there's three links to Instagrams of three people that put out some IGTV videos that I think are very eye-opening and they give good perspective. Um, So this is one way you can educate yourself. Check those out. I also have two links to two websites that I just Googled that have a lot of different resources on there. If you want to educate yourself on the topic, if you want to donate, if there's anything that you want to do to directly contribute, it's down below. Um, Also a list of films to watch because nobody wants to read anything anymore. So there are some movies that you guys can watch. I think they're on Netflix. And yeah, just trying to do my part. If you guys can't donate or anything like that, just simply um, talking about the subject to people is going to help spreading awareness. Like people say, amplifying voices of people that you feel are, they have their head on straight and they're supporting the cause. But yeah, check the links below. Without further ado, let's get into the video. What's going on, everyone? Four Horsemen unite once again.
What pose are we doing here? Like,
We're doing this. I just do this one. I got told.
Good. I'm like kind of far away from the laptop.
Yeah.
Russ, you're like sitting a whole room across from your computer.
When you tell us an epic story, you should like lean a little closer.
Hey man. Hey man.
Let me tell y'all something. But this one time, I had these two.
Yeah.
I'll project.
I had these two demons with me.
Nope, no demons.
No demons. No demons.
One demon. There's one.
Russ is a very
Damn,
little
Joey,
man.
we're like 30 seconds in. You already got to cut shit out.
Yeah, no
Nah,
demons. You can cut it out.
How you guys holding up?
Good, man.
I like quarantine.
What do you
How's
like
it good,
about it?
man?
Have
I feel like-
responsibility of telling people I don't want to do plans with them. So
I feel like for most people in the powerlifting community, well, actually, I take that back. I was gonna say it hasn't changed life too much, but I feel like if we're able to train, it's not gonna be that bad. But if you're able to find a way to, if you're looking at it, I mean, you probably be fine for the most part.
yeah, we all lucked out pretty well that we have an option to lift.
Yeah.
You guys got your stuff pretty quickly, huh? Like right when you knew that the gyms are going to close. Russ was actually in the process already, so.
I knew like a week before that shit was probably going to start to close. So I spoke to my gym owners and was like, hey, in the event that everything shuts down, like I'm taking a rack, I'm taking plates, I'm taking bar. They're like, yeah, cool. So literally the night that they told us that like tomorrow everything's going to get locked down, I taken everything out of the gym and just brought it to my house.
I mean, I knew. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was so fast. I didn't. I think I was calling her bluff. I'm like, bullshit. No way. Everything's like, nope. Look for it. It just, I don't know. It happened really fast. I feel like if I didn't have like the situation I was currently in, I would have no way to.
Russ, if you could get a little bit closer to the mic, I think that would be good.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I feel like if.
Much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like if. Yeah, I feel like if I didn't have like the situation I was in right now, it would be very tough to kind of like maneuver in the situation because it happened so quickly. There wasn't really, in my opinion, time to kind of like formulate a plan. Go forward.
John, you already had the bunker set up, I believe.
Yeah, well, I had my own place in Wisconsin, and I actually downsized. So it became very easy to sell my equipment before moving.
Do you know the price? Do you remember the price? Well, you sold all your kilos and everything?
I didn't want to price gouge anyone, so I didn't like sell it for like a crazy amount. But like the moment I would post it, I would get like 4 people asking if it was still available. Like I posted a lat pull down on my story, and I had about 20 people message me.
Dude, people around here were getting wild. Like I saw somebody who made wooden plates and was trying to sell them for like $2 a pound. Like they went outside, like chopped down. They literally like went into their backyard or went in the woods, like cut the trunk of a tree and then like shaped it into weights and was selling it on Craigslist.
But wood doesn't weigh a lot.
I know wood is nothing. Probably like 10 pounds for this entire
Man's out
wheel.
here hustling.
Bro, it was ridiculous. Like there are people literally trying to sell. There was somebody sold, you know those like adjustable like dumbbells, like they have the handle and you can like set how many
Yes.
like
Those are expensive. Those are really expensive.
how much do they usually cost?
Like I think ours.
Mine, I have the not PowerTech, Power Block ones up to like 125. I think it was like about 1,000 for everything.
Yeah, they're a lot. I think mine.
Was it dumbbell?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, they're a lot, dude.
Maybe what they were charging wasn't that crazy. I would never pay that shit.
Those things are so expensive. I guess they
They're
assume it's
so nice
something.
for like home gyms.
It's convenient, but goddamn, I don't
I
remember.
mean, if you bought like all those dumbbells like individually, it'd be like $3,000.
That's just a lot. Watch when Russ is starting to get equipment for the gym. Watch.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking at prices and like, bro, why does everything cost so much? Like, what the fuck?
It's crazy, man. It's a lot.
Bro, like
dumbbells going from 5 to 125. That's like $2,000.
dude, like
I was like, what?
have you seen
I'm like, what the
Have you
fuck?
seen how
Why
much-
is it expensive, man? And like a simple like a easy bar rack with the weights, it's like I think I got quoted for like $1,000 or something like that, or $2,000. I'm like, dog, what the fuck is happening?
bro, you see how much like Cybex machines cost?
Nah, I haven't.
So
Dude, if you want like a Cybex hack squat, I think it costs you like $5,000, like almost $6,000.
Oh, I could believe that. I bought a cable. I bought a cable crossover for like $10K.
Jesus Christ! You picked the wrong time to open a gym, buddy.
Yeah, man. It is what it is. Honestly, I don't plan on.
Honestly, if you wait like 2 months and like gyms start opening and people are like, "Oh fuck, I don't want this home gym anymore," you could probably.
No. I'm not gonna probably open up until like later
shit
on.
has
I'm
to
like,
be like over.
yeah, I want it to be completely over. I don't want to open up at a time like where people are kind of cautious to go to like a public gathering or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you said you're buying all new equipment?
Yeah.
Everything's cool.
Yeah. I don't want to go the used route. Like if we go the used route, it'd have to be something that we just could not find used.
I would imagine that you would want the gym to have like a certain aesthetic. So
Yeah.
it should have to all kind of be like the same paint and whatever.
Exactly.
What's your theme? Red, black.
Demon shit. Demon John.
Demons.
You're gonna get a Challenger Demon.
Yeah.
You
Nah,
know,
it's just red and black, honestly. Red and black.
you can't really go wrong with that. Those so back in the commercial gym days, they had this machine that was like you literally sit and you just lean back, and it's for your lower back. It's supposed to work your erector or some shit.
Yeah, right? You literally just go.
That shit is the
Oh,
most useless
yeah.
machine ever, and it costs like $1 billion.
No, you know what machine? The
Oh,
neck
my
machine
God, we feel
where you
good.
go like you like put your head in the little fucking.
I've never seen that.
You've
Oh,
never seen that?
I found
So
like
the gym that I first started lifting at was like an old head bodybuilding gym, and they had every machine you could imagine. And like in this little corner, there was always some dude wearing like a 4XL thermal, just fucking yeah, just slamming it, just fucking doing these neck extensions, dude.
People
Those
bring
guys-
the attachment, it's like a chain, and you hook it up to a lat pull down. I've seen that like 1,000,000 times. Fighters do that a lot, actually.
I got like hit up by like companies to promote that on my Instagram. I'm like, no, I will never use this. So I'm not gonna promote it on my shit.
Bro, you know what I get all the time? Because Instagram has a bunch of like sponsored ads now. Every day I will see like a different Joe Rogan ad for some piece of equipment.
Oh yeah, for like a random thing that he's talking about, like just
Like,
on
it's
the
like
thing.
so right, or like the neck, like there's like a neck machine that he was advertising
I'm
for. and shit.
pretty sure I don't even know if they ask him for that. I
What
know
do you
he
mean?
says that they take his clips and they put like for political reasons and they'll post it just say like, oh look what Joe Rogan said, but I mean, do you think they hit them up and go, "Hey, can we use this clip from your podcast? Here's $10,000 or whatever."
I'm pretty sure that's illegal to do.
Probably.
Yeah, like they'll have to let them know if they're using or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys miss? What do you guys miss the most?
The gym, man. I mean, Russ, you've been able to train with people, but like I definitely miss the gym atmosphere.
Yeah. I mean, like the training with people thing is somewhat, it was like somewhat limited. I just had access to a facility, but there was no one in there. So, like, you go in there, it's just you training. For the most part, it's just a social aspect that comes with lifting and going to the gym.
Yeah.
John's like, I miss nothing. I don't give a fuck about anyone.
I miss that I didn't get to have like a going away party when I moved to California. That was like one thing. I was like, I wanted to go out to like the bars one last time.
Was it hard saying bye to anyone, or were you just like, but later?
Yeah, I did like an Irish goodbye. I'm like, all right, peace out.
Damn.
I was like, oh, I'm halfway to California already. Yeah.
Are your parents back in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
It's very hard to say bye, for me personally, to my mom. Like when I went to school and I left, it was so hard. I was like, God damn it, this shit sucks. But I mean, you know, now like for any of us right here in this fucking call, we could go anywhere we want. You know, if we live wherever, we could always fly back. You know, for whatever reason. But I think when I was younger, it just seemed like it was just like, I don't know when I'll be able to come back, you know, because you don't have the means to do so. But now it's just like I could go wherever, do whatever, and you feel a lot less. We feel more connected, I think.
Is it hard for like? Do y'all care about training in the gym with people? Because I know Joey, like you hate. I think it's just you dislike the crowd. Like you dislike the crowd.
I'll go first, and then I guess they'll go. My whole thing is like, when it's the regulars, I don't really mind them. When it's people that I don't know, and there's a lot of them, and they don't respect my space, I get really. I mean, you've been with me in the gym. Sometimes I just get. I'm just quiet. I just won't speak. I'm usually very talkative, so if I don't say anything, it's like, you know, I'm a little annoyed. But the biggest thing for me is like, I can't go as okay. You guys know how shitty an ER rack is.
Yeah.
It's really sketchy when I re-rack, without spotters or anything. And if I want to go heavy, Tina's not gonna be able to do anything, you know. So it's just like the big rogue rack is what you're saying.
I think it's so heavy.
We have no fucking room in our garage. We have like the ER rack's perfect. What happened?
Get rid of the ER rack. Switch it for the rogue.
The ER rack's very small and convenient. Dude, I don't even know what that rack looks like when you take the bench out. I know the bench weighs like 500 pounds.
I mean, it can't be like much more bigger footprint than the ER rack.
Dude, we have. I don't even want more shit. Tina always wants to buy more shit.
The rogue rack is so overbuilt. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like I remember the Arnold that we did where they used it, like the flights were taking longer because of how much issue people were having, like taking the bench out and then like just adjusting the rack heights because like the handles are heavy, the fucking like turning the rack in is a pain in the ass.
The ER rack's like really flimsy, but it's, you know, it's convenient. I'd say for if it wasn't so expensive, it'd be.
It's garbage, bro. Greg
it
Page
is trash.
in the back of his truck.
I hate the Lego rack too. Fucking trash.
But I mean, that's the biggest thing is like at home I don't have spots or whatever, so I can't. But I mean, for literally every other lift, it's fine. You know, I don't mind when we're actually training, like when Brad's actually training and everybody's like serious and everybody's doing their shit. I like that. You know, like we'll have one guy over here, he's about to pull fucking random ass dude pulling 725. Random, you know, guy over here benching something, terrible technique, whatever. And then even the little homies with their, you know, 455 maxes, but they're fucking hyped. I'm like, all right, let's go. You know, like that. I like that when everybody's working. You know, it's just when they don't respect your space, then it's just like, what the fuck am I doing, man?
Yeah.
So, John, do you prefer pack gym, Sean? I already know Russ likes it when there's people.
I can do either. I don't like packed, but if it's like people in there,
John, you're
Yeah.
cutting out a little bit.
Either alone or with other people.
You're good. You're good.
All right.
Like for example, the other day when you were at the
Okay.
gym. Now you're muted.
I enjoyed it. I liked lifting with like Andy and.
No, I can.
Ah, what the fuck?
You're good. You're good. It was like muted for a second.
Okay. All right. Okay. No, I liked it. It was fine with like Andy and all them, but I can also like just train alone and I'm totally fine. It doesn't make too much of a difference.
Bro,
for me.
John, you'll do a whole ass mock meet by yourself. Like you're crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, you do those fucking SBD days by yourself, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't know if I've sent it the way you have sometimes by yourself. But yeah. I guess in my case, like, so my gym is much smaller than either of yours, Joey or and Russ. Like the thing that I like the most about training there is since it's the same regular people, at least Monday through Friday, like everybody knows what everybody is doing, like training wise, and I think everybody is just like one unit where like how somebody is going to respond to like a lot of talking. Like if somebody is going to want to just put their headphones in and work. If you know that somebody else is training the same thing as you, like it's not even a question that you're going to work in on the same rack. So like when that's the setting, I like that because like everybody's pushing for the other person to have a good day. But like on the weekends, a lot of times the gym is packed with guests. Like a ton of people drive in from other states to work out on Saturdays. So it's like the gym is more packed than it ever is during the week. And like you just have people in the gym who don't know how you are. So I've had times where like I have my headphones in and Monday through Friday, the regular people who train there know like, all right, just don't talk to them. But then it's like I'll be warming up to a top set and like somebody stops me to ask a question or pick my brain about something. I'm like, this is not the time. Like you don't know that, but this is not the time for me to talk to you.
For me, it's like we had like for whatever reason people travel and they come to zoo and then the lifter will be there and their parents will be there. And so yeah, I kid you not. And then they'll be like, "Oh, Joey, like, my son like likes you." So I fucking have to like. I mean, I'm not gonna tell a parent, "Hey, yo, let me hit the set." I mean, it depends. It depends on the scenario. Usually, the parents are pretty good about it, but, I mean, with parents, I mean, Sean, you probably deal with parents. Like, you gotta
sometimes
shake them up, especially when we go to meets.
Yeah.
But
I'd say probably more so going forward. I will. Like my roster has become
younger.
A much bigger percentage of my roster is in like 16 to 20 age range now. So I'll probably have to do it in the future.
I was giving my brother some kids, and he goes, "Hey, like I could work with 20-year-olds." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but like you gotta earn your way. You gotta work your way up. You gotta work your way up." That you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I like my gym's packed, man. Honestly, like I think it's just an energy. Like I'm an energy person, so if there's a lot of people in there, I could just kind of like people watch, but then I'm kind of able to stay in my own little corner and lift.
Do you guys remember before you were transitioning super into powerlifting when you were at commercial gyms, but you were kind of strong? Like you're at a commercial gym and you're obviously pushing weight, so you have like hell of people in there.
No, I definitely prefer that. Like I think like with you, Russ, like being at Alpha Elite, right? Like it's probably more like I like that setting when it's crowded because like it's less like you don't know people as well. So, like,
nah, I'm not gonna argue.
What?
Okay, so there's like
it's like the atmosphere.
It's a double-edged sword because like there's some people I just don't respect.
This is a great segue.
In abundance, and like I could tell they're not working hard. They're just kind of there for so I'm just
like
get the fuck out of here.
Like I'm saying, I like.
I think you are like way more approachable than me too. So like I feel like I don't have to deal with people coming up and like talking to me.
I feel like though when you're in like a commercial gym, since it's like people know each other less than when you're at like a powerlifting specific gym, like it can be crowded and you don't have to deal with people coming up to you.
Yeah, true.
Like I feel like people mind their business more when they don't know the people that they're training around.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
mean, I totally understand the whole. So for those that don't know, which is literally no one, um, John's gonna go save his dog.
Frodo.
Look at that nice gaming chair.
Woo.
Where'd you get that chair from, John?
Ash Racer.
Goddamn, I've actually never heard of that brand, but I recognize the way that the chair looks. I don't know if I should wait for him to come back or keep going.
What's up?
No, I was gonna say we're talking in the group chat about how like when people want to train with you, but they're not taking this. It's not the same level of seriousness. It really just fucks everything up, honestly.
Yeah.
He agrees.
Like, fuck those guys. No, yeah, actually, that like, because when I did train at like Madtown, we had like a pretty close knit group that like you had to earn your way into to be part of the crew. But like you wouldn't. Everyone knew we were gonna bench on like the Forza bench on Saturdays at 10 a.m. and if you were on that bench, you were getting like.
There's pressure. There's pressure.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna come up and be like, "Yo,
Yeah, I would never want to be like, get off the fucking bench, but like a couple of my training partners would be like, hey.
Do you guys ever do that? I swear I'm a dickhead about it. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but I will go up to the people that or whoever is in my spot, and I will say, you know, how many sets you got left, and then I will just put my shit next to them and let them know that I'm waiting. If they usually they're cool about it. And it got to the point where I'll literally come to zoo and they'll be like, "Oh, I got 3 more." I won't even have to say anything, which is cool. Yeah. I really like that, and I think people will understand. Like, for example,
keep going.
Didn't have a word from our sponsor.
John's dog.
No, I was the same way. Like when I was still in school, like we had Ohio Power Bars in our school gym. And I would go up to people and I would just be like, "Hey man, like I need this bar." Like you
I
don't
remember
need
that shitty gym.
Oh shit.
That shitty we went through. Hold on, John's getting boxed out right now. Should we leave this in? Should we just leave this in?
Yeah.
All right.
Sean, we went through so much fucking turmoil in that gym.
Oh, remember like when they were
ass plates?
Those plates were like smaller than regulation size plates, so I was always pulling on a deficit. And then the director of the gym for like a year was like on us about chalk every day.
What gym is this?
My school
Some
gym.
Shitty gym that's cursed. But yeah, I mean, like when you guys are getting ready for nationals and you're training at a gym where a lot of people train. Hold up, Russ. So you bought a rack for the gym, or you bought a rack and then for you, and then the gym bought it after you later. The gym bought it off you later.
Oh, so okay. Damn, when was this? It was like 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah, 2 years ago. I bought a TSS rack, and then unbeknownst to me, they reimbursed me for it.
Huh?
So I'm like, yeah. So I didn't know. So I bought it thinking that they were letting me house it in their own gym. And then like Christian hit me, he's like, "Hey, I just paid you back for the gym." I was like, for the equipment. I was just like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that."
Well, I guess it's everybody's, man.
There is their rack, but everyone kind of knows it's my rack, if that makes sense. Because I'll pull up, like when I pull up, like people are like, they move their shit. Like they'll be on the rack and they'll just say, "Fuck my workout," and they'll go like move to.
I will speak on behalf of probably everyone here. When we're like in meet prep and we need something and people give it up like that, they give up the shit. I mean, I appreciate it a lot. I really, no one has to do that. I'm not trying to. I mean, it's not even like we're not asking for special treatment. It's just like they understand, like, yo, I'm just literally just lifting, but this guy has something he's lifting for. I would like to, give him the.
And I've done the same other way around too. Like I knew that someone was competing pretty soon. I'm just like, yo, take the rack, don't worry about it. I'm just gonna use this rack. Like it's not that big of a deal. It's just normal training.
Yeah. We have that same etiquette at my gym where like we have like 2 like platforms for deadlifts that are like horse stall mats, and then we have 1 platform that's like the carpet. And like whenever somebody's in meet prep, it's like carpet's yours, the new Ohio Power Bar is yours. Like, we can deadlift wherever.
Virtually all of us. I mean, me and Sean were affected a little bit, but it kind of worked back up as people got equipment. But like as far as like business goes, John, you kept working. Russ, I feel like you didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, we were pretty good, and actually, it kind of worked out well for me because now I get to do more R&D, which is what I like to do. So, worked out well.
But you're obviously not working at the bar anymore, right?
No, I quit that before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I quit that back in December.
Yeah, I mean, as far as me and Sean goes, anyone that was like super serious, I mean, they literally did everything in their power to get equipment. I mean, we have squat racks in living rooms now, you know what I mean? Which is cool to see, man. It's cool to see that people care about lifting that much. And
I have like clients benching off like chairs, and I'm just like,
yeah, I have a girl, she's in Dubai, and they're like really strict there, and she put like these like big block mat things and then some plates on it, and then she'll just like roll the weight off to bench, and then same thing for squat. And I was like, hey man, like
don't die, please.
No, yeah. I mean she's small, so the weight she's using is not so big, but it's just, I mean, like lifting could be what you want it to be. If you want to put everything into it, you're gonna find a way. It's just like no is not an option, right? You saw my brother with the damn wooden rack. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, what the hell? But he got a rack actually. Finally, one came in, which is good.
Yeah. It was interesting to see people like push the limits and like kind of like be creative with finding ways to lift. I feel like especially those people that literally just got racks and put it in their apartment.
Mikey in his kitchen.
Yeah, like he had a whole ass rack and like shit in front of his kitchen.
Okay, Mikey deadlifting while his girl's in the background in the kitchen cooking. When he puts it down and she just turns around and then the video cuts out. I was dead.
she's just like cooking dinner and then he drops the weight. It's like
man.
Yeah. And also, man, she has like a whole combo rack in her kitchen. Like, I don't know her name, but you see a lot of that. It's just like they have a combo rack. I think Ashley had a combo rack like in his living room.
He has one right next to him.
Deadlifting in the parking garage.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like,
I mean, you got to do what it takes, man.
Yeah, man. Like when it first happened, I'm sure Joey, you probably had a similar situation. It was like my roster was like split down the middle. Like half could train, half couldn't. And then I think when it got to the point where like people realized it was gonna be more than like a 2 or 3 week thing, they were like, all right, I'm going on Craigslist, I'm ordering off of Rogue, whatever. And now it's at the point where like most of my roster is lifting. The only, I feel bad because I have some lifters who like just live in like urban areas.
New York
like
is destroyed. New York
exactly.
is done.
Like you remember Frank, right, Joey?
Yes.
Like he lives in Manhattan, and like you live in an apartment in Manhattan. There's literally no way that you could train during this time.
Yeah.
Like you have nowhere to go. You have no way to set anything up in your apartment.
You're right.
I have one lifter. Shout out this kid Johan in the Philippines. They set up like a bunch of gym equipment. It's like just straight up like outside, like almost in the streets. Like you see like the laundry line, like the laundry like drying hanging over, and he's deadlifting underneath it. Like it's funny how everybody is, when everything was fine, they're like super picky about the shit they're lifting on, and then everybody's like, fuck it, I need a tree.
I mean, you gotta do what it takes, and it's just gonna show when everything does eventually open up. Wait a minute, Sean, you're gonna compete soon, right?
Yeah, I have a meet in. Right now, it's 7 weeks.
Where at?
It's like in the fucking middle of nowhere between like New Hampshire and Vermont. I'm like, it's the.
Is it gonna happen?
Yeah, so the meet director, Eric Lapointe.
I've heard the name.
The really long
arm deadlifter. Is he a 74?
Yeah.
I know who it is. Yeah.
So he's the meet director, And he said it's most likely going to happen just because everything will be opened up by then. But I think he's just kind of trying to figure out where he's going to host the meet.
What are they like? What are the rules? Like, what's different?
So New Hampshire and Vermont, they don't have a lot of cases, so they've started to open up. But the original venue he had was a school, and schools are just closed straight up. So I think he was looking for a venue within there, and then his other option would be to host it at his gym, but his gym's in Massachusetts, and the rules in Massachusetts are a little stricter, and Mass is only, I think, opening up like towards the end of June. So I think right now he's just like teeter-tottering between where the meet is going to be.
What's the cap, like lifter cap?
Oh, it's a small meet. It's a pretty small meet.
30,
I don't know what
40.
the cap is. Yeah, I imagine that he probably has capped it just because, he's going to be less likely to be allowed to have a meet if there's 100 people there.
John, do you know what's going on with USPA? I think they're having national. I'm not sure. I feel like they're doing stuff.
I think I pushed back. I don't know when. October maybe.
I saw them post about like they're running meets, and I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, I saw all the Texas ones are still on for the most part. I'm actually still signed up technically for one in Illinois. I think that one they're kind of playing by ear. They're just like kind of going as like states open up.
I totally think. Go ahead.
No, so I have a lifter, Jess, who lives in. Oh wow, if she's watching this, she's gonna be mad that I don't remember. But either South or North Carolina. But her meet is scheduled for like 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, and it's still on. So I guess it's just totally case by case.
I think we can have meets if we do it like I mean honestly the Arnold was fine. Maybe I mean we all had our own racks. I could literally have done the same thing. We could do it safe and just like I'll just be more like, hey, yo, don't shake my hand or whatever. Like I think we can do. I think nationals can happen. Once I saw the UFC, I was like, dude, we could do nationals, but I don't know if USAPL will think it's worth it to just take the precautions to do it. Because when you think about a lifter doesn't have to touch anyone. He can go lift. I mean, obviously they have to touch the bar. It would be you can't really wipe a bar down. That would be dumb, in my opinion. Like wipe the bar. Like literally.
I don't know. Well, I don't know why people there's such big pushback with the meet because people are using like today's standard and applying it to something that's like 6 months away.
You can't.
Yeah, I don't think there's any sense in trying to like define it now. No, I'm saying I agree with you. I don't think there's any sense in like trying to define it now based on what's going on now. You don't know what's going to be.
Especially like with how fast it came. So okay, it came that fast. It can go that
It's
fast.
just gonna open. Yeah, I feel like it'll gradually open, but one day they're just gonna be like, yo, we have to go back. But when everything initially shut down, did you guys have any worry? Like, were you guys worried at all about anything in particular, or were you guys like, oh, whatever, I'll just stay in?
I mean, my answer is the same as yours, Joey. Like, my mom, just because she is definitely high risk for this virus. She has like half of her left lung was taken out, both of her lungs have collapsed, pulmonary hypertension, like all of these things that are just like the worst combination for this. Like, I was never worried for myself.
Do you have asthma?
I mean, I used to. I have literally not like.
I didn't know you could get rid of asthma.
Well, I mean, I haven't experienced any sort of asthma issues since I was like, maybe like 14.
Same.
A lot of friends have had asthma, and then like they just their cardio game stepped up, and now it's not an issue. Like
I did not even know that.
Like, it's probably still there. Like, I guess you technically would still have it. I just think that you like, if you're in good enough shape, like the point at which you would experience asthma is just like not a point you get to.
Yeah, our sport isn't really one that causes asthma attacks, I don't think.
I don't know, man. You see Dave Hoff on the fucking oxygen tank between attempts.
Dude, honestly, look, man, I want the best for powerlifting, but like that is something else.
That's such a bad look.
That's something else, dude. I don't know what that is. That's like I don't know what the fuck that is.
I watched it. It was pretty funny to watch.
That literally, but what's crazy is like what we're doing now came from that, I guess, but it should be the other way. I feel like no equipment, to using a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it does seem like if you were to, like speculate what came first, you would think that Raw came first.
I don't know, man. That shit is like a meme. I cried laughing when Keiko sent me his first two meets. I was on the floor laughing at the shit that was going on in the background. Just the judges, the fucking monolith, all that stuff. And it's like, I feel like the landscape is changing a lot now. I mean, there's a lot of young kids now. They don't even know what West Side is, which is crazy to me. Like we're literally seeing, people even like when I'm watching a pod. What happened?
No, just make a joke. Fucking millennials don't know their
They don't.
their roots.
They just like as time goes on, people like youngins, they don't know certain things, they don't understand certain references,
Mhm.
um, and it's just you just realize like how different their upbringing is gonna be versus yours. So, like for example, when I was in middle school, there was no iPhone. There might have been an iPhone. There was a Sidekick. I don't know if you guys remember the Sidekick.
Remember the juke?
I don't know what that is.
It was like the skinny little
Blackberries.
Like,
I remember those.
it would flip up.
Yeah.
Um,
Remember the razor was
the
really big.
razor was like the
The
shit.
razor, you had to have the razor, dude.
Yeah, everyone had the razor. I could never T9, so I just had like the QWERTY keyboard, like slide one.
You got roasted if it will come up in conversation back in the day if you didn't have a sidekick or like a new thing or you didn't have the new shoes or whatever, you're getting roasted like
Yeah.
100%. But that's how you build like toughness. I mean, I don't know, man. You got to go through some shit playing sports coming up. Do you guys miss the movies?
Flex in football, like you were a loser.
If what?
Yeah. I mean,
No, the flex, like they were like the cleats with like the metal on them, so like
Yeah.
Under Armour.
Wait, what cleats were these?
my cleats are all plastic. I don't think we're allowed to have metal.
You can't have metal in football.
Yeah, you can.
What?
What?
They're-
No, we could.
Wearing metal cleats, yeah.
Maybe in our collegiate division
It
we
was
couldn't.
like baseball metal cleats where it's like a spike.
Yeah.
It's like a metal dud thing. It's like
Yeah.
like almost like a, I don't know how to describe it, like a little piece of silver and the outside of it was plastic. But dude, I mean, I got people stepped on my hand sometimes.
Basketball.
You know, in baseball, the spikes are. It's like a.
It's like this, right? It's like a
Yeah, it's super thin, and it just comes straight. You know, like the end of like a seatbelt,
yes.
like that shape. It's literally just like that. Like you get cleated, and it
It
fucking
fucking
hurts.
hurts. Did you guys run track? Did you guys do
Me?
any track and field events?
Middle
No.
school.
I did a little bit. I did a long jump and then 4x1.
I ran the mile.
Oof.
The mile's hard, dude. The 400, nothing will explode your lungs. Like 100, no, you could do the 100, no
400.
problem. 200s, whatever.
400.
The 400, like by the end of it, you're burning.
Bro, we did the
Fucking burning.
Wait, Sean, you were fat.
What?
I thought you were fat.
I was fat and then got really, really skinny. Like I
Oh.
went from like 190 to like 145 in a year. Yeah.
our middle school track team was so goddamn lazy. Like, so the 400 was considered a long distance. So
Hell no.
I would do like the 100, 200, and 400 just so that like I could run with the long distance guys. And they would like our practice was go run around town for like 30 minutes.
We used to do that.
Like the closest kid's house and just fucking eat his food and like play video games. And then like after like 1 minute, come back and go, oh man, coach, we ran all the way to the other side of town back. Like, I ran like 10 miles.
Did you guys ever have any coaches that were like, they would let you do shit that wasn't allowed, but they would be like cool about it?
No.
Mm,
I mean, I grew up in LAUSD, so we had this one coach. Huh?
They would let us do is like they'd give us the key to the weight room was like the one thing.
We literally had a after school program, dude. he was like, you know, he was very hood, and he would let us hop. He would literally let us hot box in his fucking van. This guy was nuts, like literally at school. But he's like, hey, he was like, hey, all right. I mean, you guys could be doing this, or you guys could be out doing something worse. So, I mean, this is like 7th grade, you know.
Oh my god.
So literally, all of Sean's followers weren't even born yet.
Yeah. Yeah, my coaches all growing up were tyrants, man. They were rough. There was
in
no
sports,
league
did you guys have? I don't know if Russ had any crazy coaches like that.
No, not like that. They were pretty hard asses for the most part.
We used to have 5 a.m. workouts on Saturdays after football games to like make sure they didn't go out drinking.
I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
We would have recovery workouts like Saturdays, not 5 a.m. But
No.
So hard workouts. Like you had to come in, you hit like a 3x5 at like 60%.
We would watch film Saturday.
And then watch film at 5 a.m.
We would watch film. We would eat together. With Sunday off, and then you die Monday. And Monday was like anything that you did in the game that you fucked up on. That was like the only thing you were gonna work on, and we would just get destroyed. And then as we got closer to the games, it was more full team stuff. My coaches were insane, but I'm very thankful they were hard on us because it literally that helps mold you into who you are, and it's very obvious today seeing the kids that didn't go through that they just don't have it. Like.
Yeah.
Like if that's why it's so influential. If anyone works with kids, like you can literally help them be mentally stronger by putting them through, challenges. It doesn't have to be anything like, dude, we used to sit there and pop a tree. Like you literally, like you get in your stance and you had to hit the tree, hit it as hard as you can with your palms, and then the next person would go, and it was just dumb stuff. Like we would just do really dumb stuff, but.
When you guys are inside of the gym, can you like literally point out people that have played at had some type of hand in athletics? Like you're like, oh, that person played sports.
Like no one at zoos, no one. Oh,
I think you can tell for sure.
We had this one dude, this big black dude. His name was Paris, and I right away, like I'd never seen him in my life, but we were like cool. Like I just knew that he was an athlete. I could tell this guy.
When you see when you just see a person in the gym, you're like, oh, that person definitely played sports. Like
yeah, of course. I mean.
I feel like people have like those body types, like put them into that sport. Like I feel like you could look at somebody and be like, you used to wrestle, or like you see someone who used to
everyone used to think I was a wrestler.
You're like you play baseball or you played football. Like I feel like it's.
I would say honestly. I mean, aside from powerlifting, before like when I finished football and then was transitioning into bodybuilding, then into powerlifting. I would say that the majority of people I was around was an athlete. Like this is the thing, right? I've seen guys fucking 6'2", 225, like literally 10% body fat, runs like a 4.5, like super fucking athletic, can dunk off vert, like just crazy motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And I always wonder, like, I'm like, man, if our O-line did bench, like seriously did bench, they would just shit on everybody right now. Like, imagine 5 Amendolas, Sean.
Or 5 Julius Maddoxes or whatever.
Just 5 Julius Maddoxes, like, just destroying everyone.
I only ask because, like, for me, I don't even have to look at body types. I can literally just tell about, like, the tenacity at which they work out. I'm like, oh, this dude played sports. He knows, like, how to actually lift. Like,
yeah.
Do you say what's up to those people?
I do this thing to where if I see them in the gym consistently, I'll just kind of, like, dap them up, be like, yo, like your work ethic or something like that. I fuck with what you've been doing or whatever. And it's weird because like I can see it with girls and guys. Like I can see like girls that used to play maybe soccer or volleyball or something like that, and the way that they train. Like I had to do that recently. I was like, yo, just want to say you work out really, really hard. Like you're really killing it. I'm like, did you play sports? It's like, yeah. It's like mostly like confirming.
Young girls at the gym.
I don't do that shit.
I didn't hear what he said.
When I started to tell the story, like John's like, relax.
I'm sitting there like,
hell no, that's not how I give it up.
Oh damn, bro! You got that volleyball booty.
Fuck no.
Oh, John. No, I was trying to say before, John. I had the same experience with those morning workouts where during playoffs, I've talked about my high school coach before and how he was like a massive, influence and role model. But during playoffs, he would purposely call like really early morning Saturday practices to make sure that nobody was getting hammered during playoffs.
I don't know, man.
And
I need to sleep in.
like he would tell, like he could tell, like somebody would show up hungover, and he'd be like, "All right, fuckhead, you're running the whole practice."
I mean, I don't know if I told you guys this, but one time we won an away game. So we had offensive bus and defensive bus. I think it was against, I don't know, it was against Bakersfield. I hated them so much. And we were driving back. It was a really long bus ride. It was like 2.5 hours. And someone on the offensive bus was, I guess, smoking. I was on defense. We were listening to stupid music and going crazy, right? So the whole week, offense got OT'd. OT is like punishment, right? So they were doing terrible, terrible things while we were just practicing. Um, I mean, so shit like that to teach you a lesson, which at the college level you should not. I think when you get it, I mean, no, there's no. I'm curious if any, like, if LSU is gonna have any, anything like that going on. They're gonna be about winning. You know what I mean? But sometimes you gotta. I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy, but I don't regret it. I'm glad that I went through what I went through. You know.
We, tradition was hit up Denny's after football games. We'd be there till like 1 a.m. and then go to that 5 a.m. workout. And then Saturday was the night party.
I just wanted to sleep. I want to eat and sleep.
Party, nice.
No,
I think the thing about
we did.
I think the thing about like those hard ass coaches and like those memories from sports is like if it was done right, like when you look back on it, like you only remember like the positive things. Like you never look back and you're like, damn, that shit was like that doesn't weigh on you. Like you always remember like the positive things that happened from that whole situation, I feel like.
I loved games so much that I was willing to put up with it. Like the whole just you're warming up, the whole like going out, seeing everybody in the crowd that are calling your name and shit, and then just blowing somebody up on a big play. Like I loved playing football a lot, but the extra things like, oh my God, we had an ex. I mean, he said he was an ex-Cowboys corner and running back, and he ended up leaving us and went to Berkeley. He had a playbook this big, right? So as a linebacker, I was just like, man, I'm already studying for school and I gotta study this shit. It was a lot of stuff, and I'll never forget one day when he told all of us, for those that don't know, I went to community college before I transferred out. He said that there is a school for each and every one of you get a full ride. He was like, I'm confident there's a school for each and every one of you for get a full ride. Doesn't matter, NAIA, D3, D2, D1. Obviously, our all-stars are going to go D1, For me, it was like I was smart and strong, but I just wasn't fast enough. We had a guy that he ran like, I think it was around a 4.6, and like I totally got to that point in football where it was like you're going to be beat by someone that's like they're just better. You know what I mean? Even if you work hard, they're gonna work hard too. That's what it came down to for me, and I just, it taught me a lot. And even though I was able to find a school, it was just like, it just taught you a lot, man. It was an overwhelming amount of work, and just, I mean, Sean, I remember when you were dying at the end of MIT, and you're managing your powerlifting. It's like you had all this shit going on. But I started to become, and this is why I relate to Russ a lot. When Russ told his story about you didn't show up for practice the next day because you were like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's a very important turning point in your life when you realize, like, yeah, yes, football is a great thing and it's incredible. Like, it can give you a lot, but you're going to have to work so fucking hard with minimal returns for such a long time. And then you're eventually going to get a big, you get your big payday, right? And I just truly enjoyed lifting. I truly enjoyed lifting, and I liked the concept of lifting to improve a lift. And I was a very free thinker, and I was always like questioning everything, right? Even my teachers, I was like, this doesn't really seem like something practical that I need to learn from my life or what I want to do. And then I just walked away from it. But I'm glad that I went through it because it's out of my system, and now I'm not like, yes, there's things about football that I miss, but I'm not like, I remember I was 18 years old before I decided to play, pursue it and go back to school. I was like, man, I don't want to be 30 and look back and be like, fuck, like I wish I would have stayed in it, So, I mean,
it's weird for me. Like I didn't like, once I started walking on and got to the collegiate level, I was like, I don't like football. I like training.
I was the same way.
I always loved working out. Loved the off season program. Like that's right. That's what I love to do. The game and shit like that. I was just like, I mean, it's cool. Like it's all right. But I didn't. I think I started realizing that I was more of a process guy, like an end result guy. So I was just like, why am I killing myself to do this when I could literally just stay in this arena and just like thrive? So
Yeah.
I cut out the end part of it and I kept the middle meat part where it's just a process. So it's just like a never ending process. I like cooking, but I like going back home. Like that. But I didn't like the actual game of playing football. Like I didn't really care about the whole like ooh crowd and shit. Like you walk in, it's just wasn't that big of a deal to me. But like the aspect of getting ready for football, that's what I really fell in love with.
I remember being on the field with people that I just knew were like not normal. Like we had this one. No. Seriously, we had this one guy who was a receiver. I think he was a bounce back from. I think he went to UCLA. He didn't. There was. I don't know. He had some drama there, and then he got a full ride to Hawaii. His name was Coleman, and this guy, he was one of the most. This guy literally like glided through the air when he would jump to catch the ball. Like he was just nuts. I had a guy actually that I knew. He went to elementary with me, Joshua Stangby, and he ended up playing for the Colts. And I knew he was just a fucking freak athlete. In middle school, he used to play kickball. He would kick the ball, run and go get it. Like kick it up high and run and go get it. This guy was nuts. He could I kid you not, he could grab rim. He was 5'6". He could grab the rim with two hands. And you just meet these people and you're like, I ain't that. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys felt that way, but I mean, Russ, you're like out the highest level of what you're doing. Um, you know what I mean? From like I don't like obviously you work super hard, and you have like a certain aesthetic to it, and you have personality, and like you choosing to walk away from football set you on this path, right? If you didn't do that, like what if one of your homies that day convinced you to stay in it, right?
No.
Your whole life would have been changed. Your whole life would have gone a different way. You know what I mean?
When you play athletics, you're gonna run into people. You're just like, man, some people are just different.
Right? Like, and it's crazy because people watching this, like I'm telling you, when you play, I'm very thankful that I got to play at a collegiate level to some capacity because I got to see people. The thing about the community colleges, you have people from all over. You have guys that are insane, but they just don't have grades or something,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm telling you, like, I've seen D2 teams that I'm confident we could like that. Those guys, like from a talent perspective, they could have just shit on them. Like
Yeah.
they're it was just it's just nuts, and it really made me appreciate. I don't remember his name, but I remember we had this DN. This guy was like 6'4". His arms were massive. This guy looked like he would just tear you in half, and he was so nice, and he was the nicest guy. I remember the car he drove for some reason. And I was just like, he was absurdly strong and just super nice guy. And I was just like, a guy like him, like we used to eat lunch together, could be friends with a guy like me. And like, I just wanted to help him. Like, how can I help you be better? Like, do you need me to stay out there, get extra reps in? Like, what you want me to spot you on bench? Like you just know that they're special. So you want to help them,
Yeah.
kind of get to their goal. And, that's why I'm very thankful for that experience. But I am also thankful.
Small town Mount Horeb, Wisconsin.
Did you not experience that there?
We didn't have any D1 athlete, like no football D1 athletes.
I mean, our guys were from Florida, Texas, Atlanta, upstate New York, like all over. It wasn't, that's the cool thing about. I mean, our coach would recruit. I know he would.
Our team was like pretty decent. We weren't like great or anything. I think there was like one team, Wanakee, who just like won state every year. They kicked our ass, but then like we could hold our own against everyone. We'd like kick everyone else's ass below us. And, like we didn't have any like really good players. We had like a good team though.
Like
Yeah.
I want to say half of our starting defense went to UTSA because they were just starting football there, I believe. Um, And I mean, I follow some of those guys still, and it's just interesting. What's really sad though is like a lot of them, they get out of football and they don't do anything. They just get like a regular job, and um, when you're young, you see the dream, right? You see like what it could potentially be, but until you go through it, and you realize there's a lot of other shit that goes into it. Um, so I don't know if you guys remember the name Jimmy Clausen, but that was a big quarterback. That was
Yeah.
you remember it? You remember that name? Like he was, oh my God, this guy's the future, right? What ended up happening to him? I don't think he did anything. I think he was such a big
Well,
collegiate guy.
No, I think I'm wrong. I think he went to the Panthers, and then that was kind of it.
Just kind of fizzle,
I
right?
thought he was on like Detroit or some shit.
I mean, I know a couple guys that went. They had looks by NFL teams, but I don't know anyone that stayed, which is nuts. Out of every football player I've ever come in contact to, my brother had two guys that went to the league and they're still playing right now. Um, which is cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very thankful for sports coming up. It makes this powerlifting thing like
Easy.
it is easy, but it has its moments where you need to be tough. You know.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't what am I trying to say here? I feel like I'm not surprised when the challenges come up in powerlifting. Like I feel like when people hit bumps in the road or like have to rise to an occasion in powerlifting who haven't come from a sport background, it's like a new feeling for them. But like when that shit comes around and you've been from a sports background, I feel like it's familiar to you before it happens.
I mean, you guys have all. With all of you, I've dealt with some little injury, and you guys handle it. Like, there's definitely, obviously, you guys are at the top of the 83s, and
90.
90 now.
John 90, John identifies as a 90 kg year, and you guys just handle it really well. I mean, you guys it's just like, all right, I have this thing in front of me. What is my new day? What I'm gonna still attack whatever my rehab is. I'll just attack my rehab how I attack my training, and you just kind of stay cool. And obviously, we have those involuntary feelings of like, fuck, like I'm hurt, whatever. But I mean, you just fucking show up and get it done. And um, I'm curious with this whole sort of lockdown thing. Have you guys allocated extra energy or extra time towards maybe perhaps an endeavor that you wouldn't have done um, if this never happened? Like, if we would have gone to Sheffield and we would have done all that, like I had in my mind, I had another path that I was like that I wanted to go down, but then all this shit happened, and it just like you just take a step back for me personally, and I was like, fuck, like where are we going now?
No.
Are you proposing that concept of like if you didn't pick up a new skill during this pandemic, then you're fucking useless?
I've actually only heard that one other time, but I was not thinking of that. I was just saying, like
That was like a topic on Twitter for sure. It's like, oh, I'm using this time to pick up a new
I
skill.
saw that meme. I think it was I saw that. You know how people screenshot the Twitter thing and they post it on IG? I saw that, but I wasn't. I was not. That was not in my train of thought. I'm just like, for me, I was like, I'm not as busy. I'm just gonna make more content. You know what I mean? Like I'll just fucking pump it out. So did you guys? Are you guys doing anything like that? John already said no, but
I'm cooking more.
okay. All right.
I'm now.
Way better now.
There you go. Hey, something positive. And now, are you gonna eat out as much when things open up?
Well, actually, I ate out today for the first time. I tried out this like week and a half in California. Decided to finally try out some like authentic Mexican. Found this little place, hole in the wall called El Taco.
That shit must have been good as fuck.
It was all right. It was all right.
One place called El Taco.
No, we have a place here. I kid you not. Flies. There's flies in there. It's hot. They got a fan. They don't even speak English, but that burrito is drugs.
Dude, actually, I have to go down to literally like this plant that I have to go to. If I can throw a rock and hit Mexico, like not even
I mean, you can throw a rock pretty far down.
all, and I can like throw a rock, and it's in Tijuana, and there's a Mexican place there that I stopped there, and I was like, okay, this is really fucking bomb.
I mean, those little taco trucks here, we have them. I don't know if you have them over where you're at, John, but there's like hella little taco trucks. Just go in there and just like hold up a number and say carne or pollo, and dude, I'm telling you, them shits is good as fuck.
Yeah.
I need when next time Sean's here, I need to be like, hey, translate for me. Papito.
In my case, like, so going from being in a gym to being in my basement, like, me recording training videos is not at all going to be entertaining on YouTube. Nobody wants to fucking watch me recording myself in my basement anymore than they would on IG. So I started recording a lot more informative
You
stuff.
want the mock meat, Sean.
What?
You still want the mock meat.
You'll get that eventually. There's a reason I'm
Hey, what the fuck, man? I just realized.
Hey, I'm going to the bathroom real quick.
I'm fully convinced that you can have like a 600 squat now.
Hey, what the fuck? I just realized that. I just remembered that. What the fuck? This guy did a whole mock of me, bro. No footage.
It's coming out.
Okay.
He goes, get back to y'all on that. On my bed. I'm waiting. I'm like, that shit never came.
And 650 was stuck to the floor on deadlift. Predictions.
Oh my god.
You told like 1650, bro.
Because whenever Sean posted, he's like, yeah, mock meat today. I'm like, oh shit, that lit. I go, yo, Sean, where's the mock meat? Sean goes, I got you in a couple hours. I'm on bench right now. And then Sean goes, when did you start? I was like, I started like 2 hours ago. I'm thinking like, damn, dog, like shit, like, where's the meat at? And I was like, he's like, don't worry, I'll give it to y'all later. And like literally, like, we just all forgot.
John didn't forget.
I didn't forget. I was waiting for this moment.
I'm going to post it, but not yet. So
Was it good or was it bad?
it was middle ground. It was lukewarm.
750.
Because I have those days like, you know, it's like one of those things like, it's like, bruh, I mean, it wasn't, if it's not a PR, I ain't posting it. Like,
Yeah.
It was a PR total, but not as much of a PR total as I wanted.
okay, I feel you.
Okay.
Where did Joey go?
Jamie used the restroom. He took the opportunity to just use the restroom.
I'll wait till he gets back to answer him then.
Wait, did you have a spotter?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm worried.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right, Joey, you're back?
Yes.
All right. So
Sean let us know how much he totaled at his meet.
Ah, damn, I'll have to go back.
Not to tell you.
So I started putting out more informative videos because I think that, you know, having the time to think about what was, you know, I guess more useful information. Also, like, I think one of the drivers for putting out more informative content was just like sitting down and thinking about like, okay, what's the best way to get my lifters to get back into training? So that was like one thing that I considered. This internship program is something that I've been doing during this time period. Like I'm finishing up the interviews this week.
Yeah, I'm pissed that you didn't accept my resume.
No, it's gonna be fucking awkward after when you're like, hey, sorry you didn't make it, brother.
No, I mean it is what it is. It's gonna be tough, but I mean that's, you know, I'm only taking 2, so you know it's selective, whatever.
It's gotta be people that really. I already told. We already had to talk, but you just gotta pick real ones.
I mean, my interview process so far, like I've asked a lot of questions, and I've asked like a lot of questions that have people thinking. So, you know, it's if I had gone just based off of, you know, resumes or answering questions like from a form, I would have no fucking idea who to pick. You know what I mean? So these calls have been really telling. And then I've been working on brand design, which I've told you guys, and probably gonna have like my first launch, I guess, in a month. So,
any update on the shorts?
any update on the shorts? What do you mean?
I thought you were doing shorts.
I am doing shorts.
Oh, because I remember it was like Russ was like, oh, it's hard to do shorts.
It's not hard. It's just,
No, you were saying that the place that you sent me didn't do shorts.
yeah. Well, they do shorts. Without the type of shorts I would imagine that you would want. You know what I mean? Like the type of shorts you want would be with the person that I have to send you like after. Like the person that I did now, like I have some short samples in my phone.
Mhm.
You could do shorts with them and tell them exactly like the inseams and like how short you want it and stuff like that. Those people could do short. Yeah,
Gotcha.
those are China. So that's China.
I get idea. I start thinking about clothes, and I'm like, man, I want to do this stuff, but Tina does everything, and she's already like crazy overwhelmed, and she wants to do everything. So I'm like, I can't. I am bottlenecked by your availability.
I think so. My whole thing is
Clothes.
that, bro, it's not that. It's not that hard. Like, okay, so this is what you'd have to do, right? Whoever you get your clothing from, literally just tell them, hey, I need you to package it, and I need you I need you to package it and just label it out with the sizes. And then literally all you have to do is just get the orders and then just put it in the quotes. And
Let me tell you, with the Bunker Boy shirts,
I'm like, Tina, you are killing yourself. Like, you can literally pay for all that shit to be happy.
I wanted to. I wanted to. She said it would have been an extra $80. I didn't do a lot. I think I only did like 100. They were gone instantly, and I told her I don't care about that. I don't make that much money from the shirts. I do it just for like camaraderie. Yeah, I make a little bit, but it's like, you know, if it saves you all this time for $80, you know, time is money, right? So like for me, I value my time a lot. So I'll rather pay money and have something done for me. Like for example, Russ, if I didn't have Tina, I would definitely be hitting up a meal prep fucking place and just be like, yo, make my shit. You know what I mean? Because like I mean, I'm very thankful that I have some disposable income to where I could do that. But speaking of which, this whole thing has showed me how much I spend on eating out. I know that we talked about that, but I wanna close on Sean's point real quick. So yeah, you stepped up your informative content. I've seen that, and the clothing stuff, and then hiring the people. So yeah, that's an example of like what I was wondering if, you know, me personally, I would rather just be dying like, you know, with Lyft, the normal work, normal like nationals time. My mind is exploding. You know, I don't mind social media. It's always something I can fall back on, and just putting out content. But I would prefer to just be like oh shit, I forgot to put out a video because I was so busy. Let me throw one up real quick. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean what you're doing is gonna definitely open doors. It'll just allow you, like right now you're stuck because you're one person.
Yeah, that's the main reason that I, you know, want to expand the coaching roster. Like I was talking to Cronin earlier today. Like during this quarantine, I've probably gotten, you know, upwards of 50, 60 inquiries. Like it's literally impossible for me to coach any of these people.
That is I mean, if I didn't have Mikey and Will, you know what really gave me a lot of faith was seeing that I was still getting, I mean, I'm actually curious, like I would have to go and look, but 50 inquiries around this time, that seems like that made me feel like, I don't know if I had 50, it might have been around 50, might have been more, might have been less, but the fact that I was still getting inquiries, I was like, yo, we're going to be all right. I'm going to be all right, you know, because before I was like, fuck man, like, is it over? Is the dream gone? Our gym's just closed forever?
Yeah.
You know
That was
what
another conversation a lot of people were having. It's like, oh, our public gym's capped now. We're never going to do training at home. Like, what? I don't know.
Man, but still getting inquiries. Like, I had one really busy week, and I was like, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. So, that was a very. I was like, man. So from now on, right, when this pandemic is done, you guys remember the numbers. I mean, John's job is very stable, so I feel like this doesn't apply to him. But Russ, you know what your launches are like. I mean, I look at my PayPal analytics, right? So I see like every month, how did I do? And we can always refer back to this time and be like, it's never going to be worse than that. You know what I mean? Like, it's never going to be the demand for whatever service we offer is never going to be worse than what it was when like people weren't even making money.
Yeah.
I had I'm not gonna lie.
He's like, I have my best shit ever.
I'm not gonna lie. These have been some of the best months of my life.
My throat.
What it is, I don't know. Like I can't. I've been trying to kind of figure out like what exactly it is. I don't know. Maybe people like them stimulus checks are just hitting different. I don't know. A lot of people would hit me and say, "Oh, my stimulus check's looking nice. Like I can't wait till you launch. Or I just bought some product with your discount code." I'm just like, shit. I thought because that was my biggest concern going into this thing. I'm like, damn, I'm literally having a launch like the week before this whole shit's gonna kick off. So I wasn't sure if like people would come out and support and spend money. But what I found over the last couple of months, I've had 2 launches, I believe, and they've done pretty well. So, and then also like my discount codes, like the amount of people that have been using it, once again, like been kind of like record setting. So I wasn't sure like what was exactly causing that because I thought the opposite would happen.
I think during this time period, people are more inclined to spend money on like small commodities.
Yeah.
Like people will buy shoes, people will buy
I didn't
apparel.
spend money on shit.
Well, Bezos, I'm not sure if it was a direct correlation, but like during this time he became quote unquote a trillionaire. So
Amazon exploded.
People just don't have shit else to do except order shit online. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Dude, we get a package every day. I don't know what Tina does, but we get packages every day.
No, I literally buy something every single night. Like I literally got like 2 packages waiting for me right now. Like I don't even know what the fuck it is. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I didn't think remember when I asked you guys, I was like, hey, like, what do you guys think if I make a shirt? Because I'm kind of, well, people frown upon me because it's like during the pandemic and people, I watch a lot of different YouTubers and one of them made a comment on it and he was just like, I wanted to do another thing, but I wasn't sure if I should because I didn't want people to be like, why would you sell something during pandemic? But I feel like for our audience especially, I know that there's some of my guys that like they work part-time, maybe their parents don't claim them or they're still at home. So that 1200, like it really was a boost. Like they didn't, that was probably more than they were going to get, during that time anyway because you know what I mean? Like so they were just spending it. I had one guy in my Twitch chat and he was saying, I literally got my stimulus. I don't have any expenses. I live with my parents. Oh, should I buy a PlayStation or something? And I was like, I mean, you do whatever you want, brother, but I'm sure it's dropping next week. You know what I mean? So I know that probably helped. And it helped people like Russ. It helped me a little bit, and probably helped Sean too, with his lifters. And I'd say with things not being fully open, I'm almost back to full capacity. I really like so powerlifting was on the rise, right? Now we need to see with this whole pandemic thing, we need to have another, I don't know if we need another event or maybe we just need nationals to happen or what, but we need, something to just give it that big surge, to give it that big big boost. I mean, we're not going to have the boost right now while this is happening. I mean, Russ, obviously your numbers don't reflect that, but it's different. Like when we're in Nats Prep, it's a different energy. You guys know what I mean? Like on online, it's just something different is happening.
I think the people the powerlifters that are going to come out of it are going to be like the people that take it seriously more so, and
the
people that are just kind of, oh, it's a hobby, might not get back.
They might just fall off forever, and do some other shit.
We discussed this once, where like, I think it's like a bell curve, where like the people who know that they're not strong at all and did it because they loved it will like continue to do it because there was never anything at stake. Yeah. And people who are like super serious about it are going to continue to do it because everything is at stake. But then like the people who fall in the middle, where like there was a competitive nature to it, but like, they weren't quite where they wanted to be and maybe do it for like some sort of social reasons. Like once this hit, it was like,
yeah,
I'm out.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you guys miss going to the movies?
Yeah, very much.
I miss going.
Black Widow getting pushed back.
Oh shit! When was that supposed to come out?
May.
Hey.
Damn. That's crazy.
I need them to start building towards the next big thing.
Damn.
Disney shows. I'm excited for like WandaVision.
WandaVision? Oh yeah. What's going on with those? Why don't they just release the movies at home on Netflix?
They want to make billions.
Is it that much more? Because you have a whole household. You spend what, $10?
Plus, they're gonna make the money basically regardless.
Yeah,
Shit.
I'd imagine you probably make more from having it in the movies.
I don't know, man. Streaming is really it's very convenient and it's a subscription thing.
But you can't charge as much, right? It's it's kind of like an inelastic good. Like people are always gonna want to go. Nobody's gonna forego seeing their new favorite movie, like no matter how much it costs.
I don't know what that word is that you use, but I'm gonna just refer to it as intangible.
Yeah, all it means is like
the overall profit, because the overhead that goes into keeping keeping the movie in the movie theaters, like the ads and shit like that. Maybe it might be more profitable just to release it on your own terms, and like you don't have as much expense.
You gotta advertise it more if it's on like a streaming site then.
Huh?
I feel like you have to advertise it more if they're just gonna put it on a streaming site then, because they gotta totally pivot who be like, hey, you can't go see it in movies, like now you have to see it on Disney Plus. Like they have to run a whole ad series with that now.
Yeah. I'd be curious. I have no idea what would be more profitable, but I know that no matter what, they could charge. If a movie's $25, everyone's still gonna go see it.
Yeah,
I would go see it.
With like putting it on Disney Plus is like one person could buy it for like $20-$25.
Yeah, exactly.
10 people come over and watch it.
Yeah. I guess with Disney Plus, I was thinking about like how like they're probably gonna move to that format to where there's a one-time purchase, or it's like one-time purchase for a view or whatever. So like if you wanted to keep seeing it over and over again, so I feel like they would make more money with that format versus like just having to go to a movie theater or going to a movie theater where like the overhead on that's a lot more.
I have a question. This Jordan documentary, they're filming this for years. Like they planned this out.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, we're gonna film you your whole career, and we're gonna just put it together and make a fucking.
So they had a film crew for his last year with the Chicago Bulls. They had a shit ton of backstage footage. I guess behind the scenes footage. There we go. And they decided, or they just kept this in a vault. And then I think 2016 when LeBron came back from 3-1 down, he's like, all right, fuck it, let's start making this like a thing. So it was supposed to be released last year. Then with the whole pandemic issue, they just decided to release it this summer. So they literally were editing episodes as it was like rolling. So like they'd edit episode 1 and 2.
What service is it on? I haven't seen it yet.
Netflix, right?
You can watch it on ESPN.
I have ESPN Plus.
I think they have. Yeah, I think they have it on ESPN Plus now.
What's your guys' favorite? Like, what app are you guys using to watch stuff a lot?
YouTube.
I'm always on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that. Don't count YouTube. That's.
Hulu.
Oh. Yeah, Hulu, because Hulu has like all the anime.
I had to go to Crunchyroll because Hulu only goes up to like half of certain things.
I have both, but for the most part, like I'm thinking Hulu just because like you have to start with Hulu, and then once you get to a certain point, obviously move over to.
Hulu has dubs, I believe, if you need that. Like if you have it on and you're doing something else.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to all you One Piece people. I'm gonna just have the dub on while I work.
They don't have dub on. They don't have dub.
For that?
I can't read fast enough for
Oh my god.
Bro, I'm reading the manga right now, and I'm just like.
Where are you at? Are you deep in it?
I'm like 200. Pause. I'm like 200.
Pause. Pause.
I'm playing. I'm at 200. Look at like chapter 250 or something like that. Yeah.
I was told. Did you see the filler? I'm gonna send you this. The filler for that show is unbelievable. There's more filler for One Piece. You could do a whole. Then there is like entire full animes of other shows. Filler.
Well, there's just 1,000 episodes.
God. That guy's crazy. That author. I mean, he said some shit like, "If you're gonna work on my show, you have to be willing to die for it." I swear, I'm not joking. Like,
yeah.
Sean's like, I just watch YouTube.
Hey, do any of you guys
so many shows.
watch Love Island?
I got.
Okay, because I can hear it on right now. My girlfriend's watching it, and so like, because we're living together now, I'm watching it. That's
Dude, I saw the ad for that, and I was like, there will never be any point in my life where I will sit down and watch that.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever you have a girlfriend and like you start watching shit, I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
Nah.
Like Real Housewives of Atlanta and shit like that. I be getting invested. I'm like, yo, why is Sandra tripping though? Like,
no, they're crazy, dude. Nah,
yeah, that's totally an agreement. I'll watch that. She has to watch Marvel movies with me.
it's funny because I got like that email from Love Island or whatever, and it's like, do someone like whatever, like do the whole what is it? You audition for it or some shit, or like you get trained for it or something.
You got recruited?
Huh?
You got recruited for Love Island?
Yeah.
God damn, I wish.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Are you fucked up? Bro, I feel like they'll roast me. I'm fucking 5'6". If I come out there, like...
I looked up. One of the guy that won 2019 is like 5'8". He looks like he's like 6'2". It threw me off.
5'8" is a long way.
It's always like that.
I don't know how to act. What are you talking about? I'll say you're a different animal, man. They can watch me. I'll be a different person.
That's it. That is actually probably true. If you gain 2 more inches, you are a different person. If I'm 2 more inches, I'm 6 feet. Shit.
I'm moving different.
I'm playing a different position. I'm doing other things.
Yeah.
Well, shit. I mean, we're about an hour 20 in. I figure we might as well start knocking out some of these questions. Goddamn. All right. So I'm not gonna say who asked them. I'm just gonna go through it. I'm gonna try to ignore the dumb ones. Sean, or you guys have it in the GC. If there's anyone that you want to ask, you can feel free to ask it. I'll just start with this one. This one's towards John Hack. Why does John high bar? I got that question 50,000 times. Is it just comfort?
I get that one a lot. It is. I don't know. I feel stronger with it. I tried low bar and it was painful, and I was like, I don't like this. So
I will speak on it because I remember when I first inherited John, I was like, this guy's not squatting low bar, but he's really good high bar. I don't think we should change it. And then
you suggested it, and I was like, nah.
I asked if you. I usually ask. I'll say, have you ever tried it? And then like, why? Like, if you don't do it, tell me why. But yeah, I mean, John is built for high bar. So, next question: motivational quote that you find yourself saying often.
Well, I actually have it tattooed on me. Is the Muhammad Ali quote? Like, I'm gonna show you how great I am.
You have a tattoo on you? Where?
Yeah.
Look at his arm.
No, it's not my arm. It's on my side.
So
I didn't know that.
What?
Is that your thigh?
Thigh?
No, it's side. Like.
Oh, side. Okay.
Bro, I thought you said your thigh. I'm like, man.
Nah, he's like the demon. He's got a demon tattoo on his eye, dude.
You got that tattoo in your thigh? I'm like, dog.
Nah, man, I'm not a thigh tattoo kind of guy.
Like
I
your
don't
inner.
pull one off.
Who would win in an arm wrestle? Not me.
Definitely not me.
That's a tough one.
I mean, Russ has big ass arms, and
was gonna
John's strong as fuck.
I feel like
All right, I think arm wrestling is ignorant as fuck.
Arm wrestling scares the shit out of me. Like, I've seen those guys that like fucking break their arm and like I don't know.
Your bench is bigger, so I mean.
Sean would know this.
Long ass arms though.
What is the prime mover in the arm wrestle?
Well, it's a lot of things though. It's not just your arm.
I mean, there's a lot of different stuff. I mean, your bicep is huge for it, but essentially, like, you're just going through the process of you're like internally rotating your shoulder. So like just having really, really strong fucking shoulder, and like it's more specific than just like overhead pressing and like delts. Like those guys do like heavy internal, external rotation shit to like build those muscles in the rotator cuff.
This one's for everybody. John or Russ, you doing that motion reminds me of the. Have you ever seen like pro arm wrestlers like practice that? It looks so
it's like
fucking
slamming the
stupid.
shit on the table.
Just doing that shit over and over. Oh.
That's funny.
Oh my god. All right. So this is for everybody. If applicable, what felt like your lowest point in your powerlifting career and how did you come back from it?
When Brett beat my ass.
That for me that is I'm going to go with that too. When we got clapped out in another country.
When Brett beat my ass, and I was just like, wow, man, this is embarrassing.
That and when Sean's shit got overturned, I want to jump out of a building.
Shit. Like, for real?
Nah, I was like very disappointed though. I was like, what the fuck?
That's pretty dark.
Mine was probably, I don't know, because I've had so many like dumb fucking injuries.
Oh my god. My whole shit. Right. He's going to be like, honestly, my lowest point is when Russ came into USAPL, you know what I'm saying?
My lowest point is the whole thing. No, I think probably the meniscus tear, just because like
I remember that.
my training was at its highest point, and then that shit happened.
He was rolling.
Yeah.
He was rolling. And also, I think the irony of that, like, you were talking so much shit about like how belt squats are like this and that, and
that shit fucking.
that was the biggest thing. I was like, bro, you were like swearing by the belt squat.
Sean, people were so happy that you got hurt that they would come to me like, hey man, so I heard Sean hurt his meniscus. Oh man, don't you think it's kind of weird that he was saying how the belt squat this and that? And I'm just like, dude, I don't even fucking.
I mean, I've said this. I think I've said this before.
Oh, I gotta
like,
give you their names so we can add them to that list, right? We had that list of people.
It was set to somebody taller than me, so I like got on my got on my tippy toes to unrack it, but then when I went to re-rack it, I didn't, so it just like wasn't on the safety, and I just fucking came. But yeah, no, I mean, I've had so many little stupid things. I think honestly, like having gone through MIT simultaneous with all this stuff, like I took L after L. Like you feel like you crush something and then you just get bodied. I think it almost like has made me immune to it. I think it just is like it doesn't have the same effect anymore. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
John.
Getting hurt at U.S. Open in 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Oh, I remember that, dude. That shit killed my soul.
You weren't.
I wasn't there, but I was paying attention. And
Oh no, I wasn't there.
no, I wasn't there. I never been at any of John's meets. So what are you guys talking about?
That with like, I'm like, there is a like 60% chance I'm gonna get hurt, but I'm just gonna send it.
I remember in the group chat at that time, like you were like, I feel like garbage, and then like we were watching your meet and we're like, oh, why isn't he wearing wraps? And then,
dude, I was like something right here.
Yeah.
But
so
it was like all up after that.
Cut. And you know, like after a rough cut, you're kind of like shaky a little bit when you're like walking out squats and stuff. I like missed the rack in the warm-up room, and we didn't have clips on, so like the bar just like all you hear from like the other side of the curtain is just a huge crash, and everyone thought I like fucked myself up doing that. I'm like, nah, I was fucked up coming into this.
That the combo of feeling drained.
Actually,
me fucking that up and like making the crash was probably my low point because I was just like embarrassed.
That's always the worst when you fuck up in front of people and you're like, bro, it's like I don't even know how to fucking lift.
Like, no, I'm fine, man. Like, my ego's hurt.
Are you okay? It's like, bro, get the fuck away from me.
Next question. A lot of the people want you guys to fight. I don't know why. Have you ever torn a bicep from mixed grip? Are there any preventative measures? What a very specific question. I don't think anyone here has torn their bicep.
Knock on wood.
My biceps aren't big enough to tear.
I'm with you, brother. I ain't tearing shit. A lot of these questions are specific to like.
Oh, actually, can we segue off that and just say I hate when people ask me like, "Oh, I
Oh fuck.
have a herniated disc. How do I get better?"
we missed half
I
of
don't
that.
know. I'm not your doctor.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. I get the gist of it. I get the gist of it.
question.
Okay, when people ask like, "Hey, I herniated my disc 3 weeks ago. How can I get back to deadlifting?"
No, jeez.
I fucking hate that.
Here's one that's interesting. Who is the most technically proficient lifter for SBD when it comes to meet? Like, so out of us, who in what lift?
I was gonna say the GOAT obviously is the most technically proficient lifter ever.
But like out of us, like who? But that's kind of a weird question because it's like, you know, you could have a non-conventional looking lift and it be very efficient for your body.
I would say Russ is the most technically proficient.
Nah, I was gonna say you. Wouldn't it be?
John's
My-
bench doesn't make any sense. Like it
think-
just it shouldn't work.
I think on squat it's either Joey or Russ.
Yeah, I agree.
I think like the fact that Joey doesn't warm up ever,
I don't do shit, dude.
always in his groove on squat, testament to how well.
I mean, I put 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate, 4 plate, but my warm up,
Your warm-up routine? You don't have a warm-up routine?
I do 5 minutes on the bike if I have it, and then I'll static stretch for 5 minutes, and that's it.
Shit.
I mean, I would say like arguably Sean's the most technically proficient on bench.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Russ's bench technique is very good for him. I think Sean's bench technique is very good for him. Your bench technique doesn't even make sense.
Oh,
Because you lift so much weight and you just your form is good. No, John, your form is good. Trust me. Look, you guys are all at the top of your game, right? No one here is going to be like is going to have bad form for them.
yeah, I would agree. We all have like the best form for us.
But like
But yeah, your bench is a mystery. I don't understand it.
like you have a lot of ROM, you know, you lift a lot of weight on it.
Like it's just a lot of. I don't understand. I don't understand what it like. I just don't understand when I see that shit. I'm just like, how? Like what? Because it's just like, oh, here's.
I mean, I think the same thing with your bench.
You're
I'm
not
like, how-
short either. You're not short either. So
You're like a guy. It's like, oh, here's 507.
And I see your goddamn giant arms. I'm like, how are you not benching 500?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, bro,
I mean, that's where your muscles attach is important too.
I don't know.
I think for deadlift it's probably Russ.
Hell
I
no.
agree.
What?
100%.
I mean, Sean, if your balance was a little better, I mean, I feel like you could pull more, but you just. I think Rush is very. I did a whole video on Russ's deadlift. On it was in one of his meat videos.
I get away with a lot of shit because I have muscle on deadlift for sure. Like sometimes.
Yes. So Russ's deadlift is very efficient because he does not have the like weaknesses that other people are gonna have when they are under maximal load. Because he's fucking jacked as fuck. But I mean, John has a very fucking strong conventional deadlift. John's deadlift also doesn't make sense.
No, but that's the point I'm getting at here. Like, John is the best deadlifter out of all of us, but his form is just like
How?
pulls it. Like,
He just picks it up.
Yesterday, the double, that was like so bad.
You hit the first one so easy, and then you just died.
Bro, I got worked on like deep tissue work like 2-3 hours before that workout.
your
And-
back has been mush.
What?
your back must have felt like mush. Like, how do you lift with that?
It wasn't so much my back. It was just like my legs, like, and she like stretched me out.
God.
And, it felt like shit wasn't firing right.
What I don't understand too is like when John lifts, like there's no like hype to it. It's just
He just picks that shit up.
like dog, like you know how some people like it's like a long little setup. John
Yeah.
goes to squat. Like I heard you explain it one time. You're just like, I just don't like to take too long because I'm gonna psych myself out. I just go to the lift. I'm like, what the fuck? Like you walk up to your deadlift and you just start pulling. You walk up to your squat, you just start squatting, and then you get on your bench and you just start benching. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm a pretty low excitement level guy. So like if I'm in like a high excitement for like too long, then I just like kill myself.
gas yourself up.
So like I have to like I don't know, you guys have seen me in like warm up rooms where like I'll be just like joking around or chilling, and then like a minute before the lift I'll like kind of turn it on and be like, all right, now I gotta like focus.
Yeah.
A lot of questions on why John left the USAPL.
Well, Joey knows that I was already planning on leaving.
Yeah,
Before.
I mean, I do believe somewhat they were partially financially motivated. I'm curious though, John, if Sheffield was a thing right after 2016, like we win Worlds, and then they hit you up and they're like, "Yo, John, you want to compete in this thing for $1 gazillion, and you could bring Joey, and it's gonna be in fucking the UK." Would that have changed your mind?
It probably would have kept me in the USAPL longer, but it was always my plan to venture outside of it.
Yeah, I mean,
My plan throughout like my entire powerlifting career, like since I realized I was like good at it, was I want to be the best powerlifter. I don't want to be the best USAPL powerlifter or like drug-free powerlifter. I want to be the best.
So the goal is to always take that next step.
Yeah, so I always, especially when I was competing in 2016, like USAPL was still like the federation, but I feel like all the little ones were
there was
still,
way more like other little things back then. Like it was not like now.
like USAPL and like WRPF meet, like the untested side, they have like 3 or 4 like big meets that like if you don't do those as an untested lifter, you're kind of a bitch.
And then people are also asking, Russ, would you ever go over to USPA?
No. I wanted to. I'll like joke around. I think
Would you go to USPA and would you go untested?
Nah.
Yeah. The thing with that is that like I want the USAPL to be my main federation.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know if I went and did a USPA meet or whatever, they would ban me. Or not ban me, but they'll just keep me
It's
from
just
competing.
like
It's just a trade-off, and then also like to make the switch officially and just like compete only USPA. I for what I want to accomplish in my life and just like what I've set out for myself, it just wouldn't match up. I just like I like the structure of the USAPL, honestly. Like I like how it's governed. I just like the look of it. Maybe future possibilities just with the structure itself, but I think the USPA is just a little bit. I look at it as like the Wild Wild West. It's like if you conquer that, it's just like different. But like the USAPL is just like a different vibe to it. So I don't think I'd ever leave, honestly. I want to though, but I don't think I'll ever leave.
because I'll give some for Sean because he hasn't said shit. Sean, so why do you hold your breath so long? Like after, like when you're squatting, like before you descend. And then the next one is this guy's asking about arching, but he's doing it in a way that is incoherent. So I will change his question for to match other questions and just make it: is there a way for someone that is born without the ability to arch that much to be able to arch more? So we'll start with the first one.
Yeah. First question, I don't like answering because it's like
I know
people
the
ask,
answer. I'm just asking you to ask it.
people ask as if there's some like really well thought out answer to it. So my issue for the longest time on squat, like if I would miss a squat, and you remember this, it was like
Yeah.
I would lose control in that last bit. Like if I descended cleanly on a squat, it was coming back up. But it was like if there was this little wobble on the way down, it would fuck it up. So like for a while, I would make sure that like I felt like my weight was distributed evenly first. And then after I got hurt, like my knee injury last year, just every squat that I took, I think I just spent like more time being cautious, and it's just become a bad habit. Like that's all. That's all it is. It's like I want to go in like half the time before I actually do.
I don't think it's that bad, honestly. If it's gonna give you more control, do it. And then, but yeah, next question, the arch thing. If someone who just doesn't really have much of an arch, they've been benching for many years, wants to increase their arch, they suddenly go, like, you have one of your lifters goes, "Hey man, I want to increase my arch." What do you tell them?
So, so I think that a lot of people have more capability to arch than they actually think they do. Because I think the big difference between like a bench and the other two lifts is that there are so many constraints on the lift, right? Like you're holding a bar, your head and butt are in contact, and your feet are in contact, right? So it's kind of like a bridge where like you can use all of those contact points to create that leverage. And I think most people just don't take advantage of that from a technique standpoint, where like they might like grab the sides of the rack as they're setting up and then they go and grab the bar and lose everything. Or like they start with their feet on the bench and then put it down and they lose everything. So like I think more people probably have access to a better arch than they have now, and technically just have not like mastered all of the little setup things. But then from like a standpoint of like I'm stiff and can't get an arch, like I don't think it should be your goal to, because I think that having that kind of flexibility, first of all, like if you can't get an arch like at all, you're never going to be able to arch the way I do.
I'm
It's
gonna
just
like literally clip that. I'm gonna clip that and I'm gonna put it in my story and be like, I don't want to hear this shit ever again.
it's never going to happen. I think people have different shapes, and to be that far on the extreme, you already have to have some sort of proof that you're there or close to there. So somebody who is like Jake Amendola with no arch on
This
bench,
motherfucker.
will never be able to do that. But I don't think that it's something that people should even want to do. And the reason I say that is like from like a structural standpoint, like being able to extend that much at the pelvis is not beneficial for the other two lifts.
No.
There's
Not
a
at all.
lot of stuff like being a good powerlifter requires that your shit doesn't move. Like you want to be rigid in your skeleton to be a successful powerlifter, right? Like over time, when people get really good at powerlifting, they get stiff, and it's not just a muscular thing. Like it's also in your bones. And I think that if you are good at the other lifts, you maybe haven't maxed out how much upper body muscle you can have. Like I wouldn't even be wanting to, maximize that arch, because maybe it leads to some sort of instability or discomfort when you're squatting. Because like if I have a super extended, my hips are super extended, my pelvis is super extended, I might run into some issues squatting that, had I not like tried to force myself on a foam roller or some of the shit you see people doing, like
God.
maybe you don't have a problem.
Yeah, and just really quick to expand upon the bone thing. Literally, when I was going through the whole shit with my back, I had a doctor explain to me what happens to your vertebrae. Someone who bears load upon them over time, and the fucking little like bones, but like on so you have the disc in the middle, and then you have the two bones, right? They literally grow like this. They literally grow in a way to where like you lose mobility over time, so you have like it's kind of protecting that little jelly that's in the middle. I've seen years ago I saw this. I was 18 years old. I remember I was at a gym that I used to work at called Beverly Hills Health and Fitness, and they showed a guy. He had a scan on his leg. It was like before and after. It was an X-ray, like before training and after training, and his bones were like, they're like regular, and then they got so crazy. Like they just grew in a way that It just looked like a sturdy ass bone. You know what I mean? It was really interesting to see that. And that's why I tell people that like people that train powerlifting over years and years and years, they become so technically proficient, not only from a like, you know, muscular standpoint, but from their literal skeleton has adapted to allow them to do this thing better than what they were doing before, which is fucking cool to me. I don't know. That's just wild.
I mean, dude, you look at high level powerlifters who have a lot of muscle, high level bodybuilders. Like, there's a reason they all move the same and look the same. Like, you watch a powerlifter walk, right? Like, there's a lot of like swing to them, right? Because they've lost like a lot of freedom that otherwise they would have had they not spent so long building all of that muscle. Like, it's down to the skeleton, and that's why I'm saying it's like, if you can't arch and you haven't already done everything you possibly can to build muscle in your upper body, then it's just not something you need to worry about.
Good series of answers there.
Joey.
Yes.
Fuck, marry, kill. Me, Russ, Sean.
Oh my God! I knew you were gonna fucking do this, man. I already thought about my answer. Because I'm gonna. So obviously, like, it's not obvious, but like, I'll marry Russ. Because I heard Russ's answer and he gave that answer, so I'll probably just do the same thing he did. Marry Russ, fuck John, and kill Sean. But only because I know Sean could take it. Sean could take it. Sean would be like, Joey, I know why you have to kill me. I know that you don't hate me, but you're gonna kill me for this. So.
I knew your answer before you said it.
Talking about like,
you know what? I'm pretty sure. Didn't Sean do a podcast with Angelo? And I'm pretty sure all of you guys would fuck me. And I.
John, you getting fucked, brother.
Hey man, I'm not fucking nobody.
We gotta answer the question, John. Like, come on.
I ain't gonna answer. I only answer that question because I didn't want to do buddy like that.
I'm very fuckable guys.
Oh shit. Hey, if you guys have a question that you really want, and if I send it in the GC, you guys can pull it up. But sports goats. Who is your fucking, doesn't matter what sport, but who is the GOAT? Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, fucking Tiger Woods? Which one of these gods do you look at like, damn?
Okay. I thought about this one. I think the Patriots are the GOAT team. Because winning the Super Bowl in football is like so much harder than repeat winning like the NBA championship.
Real quick, one thing that kind of pissed me off the other day. I was watching. It was a play where I think it was KD or LeBron James. I don't know what the fuck the other team was doing, but he literally just like dribbled the ball up the court and then he like casually just went in and made a layup. And they were like, "Oh fuck, what the fuck?" And then he wasn't even. That cannot happen in football. I mean, it's rare that it could happen, but it's just like, dog, this motherfucker just waltzed between you guys and put up a layup. There was like no people were just watching him. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man.
I don't think so. There's like blown coverages, blown assignments. Like you see that all the time. Whenever like a safety has to roll over a coverage and there's dude just screaming.
I mean, that's like a fuck up. Like
you're getting dragged for that in football.
You get fucking cut.
But, I feel like in basketball it's the same thing. It's like, oh, I thought that was your man. It's like,
I mean, no, these motherfuckers just weren't. Dude, have you seen someone that plays defense? I feel like a lot of basketball players don't play defense.
I mean, the format of the NBA now is like no defense.
I don't watch NBA.
No defense. What the fuck?
I would say my sports goat is Michael Jordan.
Who?
Michael Jordan.
All right.
Because when you think about it, like you go around and say, oh, who's the Michael Jordan of this sport? Who's the Michael Jordan of this sport? So it's just like he just kind of embodies what a winning mentality is, in my opinion.
I think that mine would also be Michael Jordan, but I think that basketball makes it easier to have one of those because I think, like John said, it's like having repeats, like repeat championships.
So fucking hard in football.
Way harder in other sports. So like you never get a chance. Like there might be somebody on that level of like a winning mentality in other sports, but like you could never concretely say like it's that person just because teams don't repeat win like that.
Yeah. I also think it's easier in basketball as well because when you have a great player, you could achieve much higher heights. Or you could,
there's less people on the court.
in football, you could be a great player and you can't carry your team, man.
Yep.
So I agree with John though. I think that the Patriots have built like they have built the greatest like team in the past
2 decades.
I think for
20
how long?
years.
20 years? Yeah, 20 years. That's like the best sports team ever.
Like 2003.
I think that the Yankees are the best sports dynasty of all time, just based on total wins.
Oh shit.
I'm saying like
I don't know enough about baseball to have an opinion.
I mean, the Yankees have 27 World Series wins,
the 2000.
and the second most wins of World Series, I think, is like 7. I don't know what the exact number is for the Cardinals.
From the end of the 2000s to now, like how many have they won?
From 2000 to now,
Plus they won.
I think
it
only
was like
2.
10 teams.
I think only 2.
2?
All time. Yeah.
Damn. I thought Jeter. How many rings does Jeter have?
Well, in the 90s, they had a big run. Like, I think they went like 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. Or maybe not 99.
Shit.
Football is like even more hard than baseball because of the cap.
Hard to repeat?
Yeah.
He's saying he like the money cap.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
I mean you, dude. Okay, like
And like the career,
what I don't like
Yeah.
about football is like if you win a Super Bowl with your team. Now next year you're like, look, I'm the starting quarterback. I want fucking infinity money. All right, well we got to cut your best receiver because we can't fucking pay him. You know, that's such a dumb concept to me. It's like I don't know, dude. That's why I like Tom Brady because he's like, no, I'll just take less, keep him.
Yeah.
I got Giselle money.
I got that
Yeah,
Giselle money, brother.
Oh.
While we're on it, so some of you guys may know I am watching the show Hunter x Hunter right now, and they had this fighting tournament system where, after a certain point, you don't make any more money, you just get honor, and that honor is apparently worth more than, like, it's just like, so I could totally see that, like the Olympics, taking less money to continue winning with your team. I could see how people that truly want some sort of dynasty or greatness or legacy, how they would rather have that, like the glory of winning the Olympics or something, over direct financial, like, here is money. I mean, obviously they usually come together now in this day and age. Like, if you beat, Floyd Mayweather in a boxing fight, you're gonna be set for life, right? Even if you're a fucking random MMA guy. Which is weird on its own to just like cut in front of everyone and go against the champ. But yeah, I mean, John, I don't think you gave a GOAT.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson is a great GOAT to have. Mike
There you go.
Tyson fuck people up.
But he didn't even get to have a full career.
Bro, he's coming back. He's fighting someone soon.
He's 52,
He got
man.
offered 20 mil. Did you guys see that? Or was it 30 mil? 20 or
Yeah,
30?
Would you
What?
say that Mike Tyson had a better boxing career than like someone like Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard? Like,
Yeah, honestly, I don't know boxers, but I feel like
Dude, he used to
boxers-
fight like a lot in a year. He would fight like all the time.
Like, the density of his dominance was high. Like, you knew that had he been able to actually sustain a full career, that he could go down as the GOAT, but he just didn't.
yeah.
Next question, Russ. How come you haven't watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Wow, that was very bad.
I couldn't get into it. Sorry, guys.
Can't do
I
it.
don't
I'm
like
not-
the idea of an avatar.
Huh?
I didn't like the idea that they like have a guy that fights for them,
What do you mean?
like the stands. Like they have like this invisible dude that shows up and fights for you. You know what I mean? Like each fighter in JoJo has a fucking. It's like they summon a dude to fight that has an ability that fights for them.
No, not really. It's fucking weird. But that's not the concept of it. It's like, it's just fucking weird. It's a weird ass show, man. Like, they have like weird concepts. It's just weird to me. It's hard to get into, honestly.
Is it considered a shonen? No.
I have no clue, man.
I don't
That
think
shit-
so. Yeah, I don't think it's not that genre.
Okay.
Another question for us. Russ, should I follow your Volume 3 program when the gyms finally open up, or should I take it slow?
Yeah, man, take it slow, bro. Take it slow.
Sean, how was your recovery because you fall asleep at 6 a.m.?
So
You call for the 6 a.m.?
He's
So
up when
there-
I'm up.
there are periods of time where I go to bed at like it honestly depends what my schedule is like, but there have been periods of time over the years where I go to bed at like 6, but I also wake up late. Like, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
But lately my sleep schedule's been pretty bad. So I'm sure it is affecting recovery in some way, but there are some nights I just cannot fall asleep, and there's nothing I could do about it. Take melatonin, take NyQuil, I don't knock out.
I did 2 melatonins the other day on accident, and it didn't do shit.
There was one time, not really related story, but related to melatonin. One time when I was in college, it was my senior year, and one of my fraternity brothers, he was in the fraternity, but had graduated years before, came back to stay with his best friend because he was recovering from a motorcycle accident. He had like gone flying off his motorcycle, cracked like a ton of ribs, like almost died, like it was terrible. And I was sitting in the lounge, and there was like a little white pill, right? And I remembered having taken it out of like a melatonin bottle, and I was gonna take it to like go to sleep, right? And I took it, and then that fraternity brother comes out and he goes, "Yo, have you seen one of my painkillers?"
Ugh.
And I'm like, I cannot tell you. I literally tried to make myself throw up. Like,
Did you become mushy? Did you get all like, oh, I feel like a potato? No, I do. Like, if you've taken strong painkillers, they make you feel like a puddle of mud. Like you
become a blob. Literally just become like a blob, incapacitated.
We're coming up on 2 hours, so I'm gonna try to end off on a good note. Biggest key you guys have learned over the years in the sport that has contributed to your real world success?
Oh, real world success.
Be persistent. That's it. Literally. I've met so many people that like start something and they stop it. Like, bro, be persistent and be consistent. That's pretty much it for me. I feel like that's like the only thing I can offer people. If you care about it, you're gonna do it. Just be persistent.
For me, I guess I'll just go. For me, it's been what I have learned from this sport is just I never, like, when I first started and people were like, there's not enough powerlifters to make it a career. This is what I learned from, I had like people in bodybuilding, like 2013, 2012, there was no powerlifting like this, right? And they're like, oh, there's not enough powerlifters there's not a big enough market for you to make that a thing. And I just said, well, I'm going to try. So I guess for me, it was just not taking no for an answer 100%. I had a doctor tell me my life was done, my career was done. I needed to get surgery if I continued to lift heavy. So just not taking no for an answer, and not being like, don't be afraid to pursue something that you feel strongly about. If that is like, if that's what you believe in, then you got to you got to just go 100%. But yeah, don't just be unrelenting towards your thing that you want.
For me, I would say success doesn't come overnight. Like, especially, it's like, take like my bench, for example. I was stuck around like 450 in a meet for 440, 450 for a while, and like, it hit like 480 in training. I really wanted that 500-pound bench. I kind of had to take a step back, and like, to get to 500, I have to hit 455, 460, 465, and just be happy with the little goals along the way to the big ones.
That is really fucking good advice. Sean?
To not repeat anything that's been said, although a lot of the things that have been said I would agree with. Don't take the highs too high or the lows too low along anything that you do. Even when you scale back and take a look at somebody's progress, you're seeing it from the outside. So if it's a positive trend, you see the smoothed out line. But if you're going through it, it's very volatile.
Yes.
there's so much fluctuation. And I think as long as you know you're doing the right thing, you can't be too emotionally attached when things are going really well, and simultaneously can't get down on yourself when they're going really poorly.
Really, really solid. So the last one here is it's just a thank you. Thank you to all three of you guys for growing and really showing out for the sport. You guys helped me find it. But yeah, that was very nice. I'll just say his name because I know him. Isaiah, thanks for that. Um, yeah, a lot of questions in here weren't even questions. They were just people saying to bring back Four Horsemen, which is really, for me, it's like really cool that there's people that want to see us together and just be ourselves. This is like a very natural pod. I feel like we all just chill and you guys get a kick out of it. There are some other questions in here that were pretty good, so, but I mean we got to cut it. I'll probably save it for another time. But yeah, I want to say thank you guys for coming on. It really means a lot to me that you would make time for me, make time for us. We should do our arigato gozaimasu. Oi. Yeah, hold on. Let's do the rest pose today, the one that he did on IG.
Oh wait, you got to do the.
He's gonna get a fuck.
Arigato.
Yeah, you gotta do that, and you gotta fucking wiggle a little bit. John, throw the peace sign.
I like that though. Dude,
It is.
John's
girls
not,
do.
John's not doing it.
Oh, I know your phone was pointing.
Ready?
I know exactly, like what girls too you're imitating.
Wait, you said what girls am I imitating?
No, like I know like the
Oh.
girls you're imitating.
Yeah, it's like
Like, I can like picture them.
I'm about to work out ass today for the fourth time in a row.
Alrighty, guys, thank you so much. Hashtag fucking be great in the comments down below. See you in the next one.
Oh, we forgot to record.